We are the daughter. We are a mother and daughter team. We are marketing advisors. We have a company called BuzzBooster. We have been working with marketing actually since 1998. BuzzBooster is almost 10 years old. And today we are going to talk about how you become a celebrity, the go-to celebrity in your field. So like I just mentioned, we are going to talk about how to achieve that status. We are going to talk about the new TV, the video and how you can use that, things that are working, things that are not working. So there is a lot of information. I would tell you really, if you can, for the next few minutes, just stop checking email and trying to multitask. The brain really cannot multitask. And why you think you can listen to this at the same time you're doing something else, your brain will really sort out a few things that it thinks it's important, and you might miss out in this huge opportunity. So let's try not to multitask for the next few minutes and pay attention to what we are going to say, because we are bringing a lot of content that can be useful to you. So with that, let me introduce, for those that don't know us, a little bit more about us. So like I said, we are a mother and daughter team. We have been working online for a very long time. We started the company about 10 years ago. We released the Internet Marketing Board game about 8 years ago. We had the help of Russell Brunson at that point. That's how we we were launched in the market, right? In the last few years, in about 4 or 5 years, we are doing videos online, right? We started with an audio podcast that was very successful. We had a sponsor from the get-go. The Salt Lake Community College here in town was one of the sponsors. Then we stopped to do the podcast at that point because, frankly, nobody knew what a podcast was. Imagine 8 years ago, it was very complicated to understand how to use iTunes. It still kind of is difficult to download, so it didn't make sense for us to do that. In 2006, I believe 2006, when YouTube came about, we started doing videos there. About 4 years ago, we started doing shows, and I'm going to tell you about how important those shows can be for your business. We started with BuzzBooster TV, so going on since then. We have Spill the Beans, that are really how you look businesses from the inside. And Boomerology Revealed is our latest episodic show that is being, I think, is in the 8th episode. Actually, today we launched the 8th episode. We already have a sponsor for that, and we love this. And we just came back from a very huge conference in Las Vegas called NAB, National Association of Broadcasters, and 95,000 people there. Everybody talking about the shift in the market and how marketers really need to, really wake up and see what's working today. And this is what mainly we are going to talk about, right? Our show, when TubeMogul used to track, BuzzBooster.tv, was in the top 40 category for education. Today they don't do that because they also have shifted their business model to adapt to the new reality that we have. With BuzzBooster, we get about 20,000 people a week watching that. But let's dive into the subject. Why it matters to you to become a celebrity? Okay, there are many powerful reasons here. One of them is that being the expert in your industry doesn't cut anymore. Because unfortunately in the last 2 years, everybody became an expert on something. It really doesn't matter in which industry you are. So today, if you position yourself as the expert in your industry, you're just part of the noise. And people don't pay attention. Actually, the average American adult has an attention span of 9 seconds. That's the same as a goldfish. So if you don't manage to get attention from your market, you only get visibility, you have an issue. And positioning yourself as the expert in your field becomes, like I said, part of the noise, and people don't tend to really pay attention to you. So by becoming a celebrity, you're shifting that mode, and you stand on a higher ground where really you don't have that competition, and you don't have everybody else calling themselves that, and you achieve the celebrity status. And what is that? Well, you become very known by a group of people. It doesn't have to be millions of people. Actually, today, that's not what's happening. We are becoming huge celebrities in smaller fields, and that's totally okay. And I'm going to tell you several examples of people doing extremely well by embracing this, because that's the future to all of us. We are going to be celebrities in smaller fields, because the concept of millions of viewers or the mass media like TV, traditional TV, well, they are shifting as well. People today, because they have that attention span that is so short, they don't want to know a little bit about everything. So you see the newspapers going out of business, you see magazines going out of business, and you see traditional television having to reshape the way they do programming for exactly the same reason. We choose today the type of information we want to consume, and we narrow our focus, right? Therefore, for people that are content marketers that have something to say in depth about one specific topic, tend to do extremely well. While if you're the kind of expert that you know a little bit about everything, you find yourself in hot water. So you have to be careful about this, okay? Because
Really,
positioning is very important.
positioning is key, but I really like this notion that this new trend, this new behavior, where we'll be celebrities of niches, and so we can go deeper. We have the opportunity to study up on what we do and to really become known on that and about that. So celebrity and niches, it's not necessarily millions of people, anyone and everyone. It's about the right people and targeting them specifically and having them be so loyal to you that you become a celebrity to them.
Exactly. When I say not to millions of people, you have to take that with a grain of salt. In many cases, yes, you have millions of people, right, with you. You can see that in any platform. For example, if you use Google Plus and you know Lynette Young is a very smart lady, she has 1.5 million followers just on Google Plus. So she has an audience with more than 1 million. If we go to YouTube, well, it gets a little trickier depending on the subject that you cover, but you have many people today with over 1 million subscribers. Actually, the biggest show on YouTube has 8 million and some subscribers, is actually a Brazilian series show, very comic. And comic and music and food, they always tend to have more traction than other subjects. Another very important thing for you to take into consideration is the audience that you're targeting. Okay, because when it comes to video, for example, which is the main topic for us today, you have a segment of power users. Power users are defined by users from 18 years old to 34. If you're catering to that audience, it's easier for you to get traction. If you're not, like for example, my show is for baby boomers, people born between 46 and 64, well, I have to do some extra work to get a very good traction going on, especially on YouTube. In other channels, it's a different ball game. So you have to take into consideration everything. Why some people get into the millions while others they don't. There are many variables. It's just not about their personality. With that said, personality is important. It's important for you to let your personality show. Some people will hate you, but that's part of being online, right? We always have the haters. But those people that like you, they will be very loyal to you. So personality is important, the age group that you're targeting, and the topic, right? We have topics that get more traction like food, music, cats in a jar, and comics. Other reasons that this should matter to you becoming a celebrity in your field, like I said, it's not a crowded space. We all saw in the last 2 years a huge increase in competition in most industries. If you are in marketing of any shape, you saw that happened quite fast. It's complicated today, even if you're very good in using social media, to really get more traction than your competitor. And what we are going to talk today will show you how to do that. You have the possibility of reaching different audiences with just one effort. One effort to multiple results is one of the keys to success. So it's important always when you're planning your marketing strategy that you think about what can I do once that will provide several results. Well, for example, in the case of the new TV, you're going to be able to reach 3 very different audiences, online and offline, with exactly the same effort. So no extra money, no extra time involved, and you're reaching 3 different audiences that are all interested in the same topic that you're providing. That's extremely powerful and very difficult to do with anything else but the new TV format, okay? It's recession-proof because you not only have people more and more willing to watch things on their phones, their tablets, their TV, but also because you have several revenue channels opportunities. Of course, you're going to implement the ones you feel comfortable with, and that will provide the revenue you want, but you have different formats. So if, for any case, one dies or one dries out, you have the others to keep you going. And that's fantastic in any business. So why not have that? It's very fast to start. Every time we talk about videos, people start allowing fear to envelop them. They think about their hair, that not every day they comb their hair, or they think about equipment or technology, that they're not savvy in technology. And all this doesn't matter anymore because everything is easy today. Anybody can do it, from a
They,
child
they,
to an elderly. Yes,
They
ma'am.
used to be barriers before, but nowadays the technology is available to anyone at our fingertips, in our pockets, with our phones if we have them even. And so then it's just a matter of getting a camera, even if it's just a phone camera, and doing it that way. It's not about having the big, massive production studios and all those equipment. Hey, if you have them, great. But the reality is you can make it happen with very simple, inexpensive cameras, even phone cameras. It's really just a matter and a willingness to do it.
Yes. And what we are talking here is really what we call new TV shows. It's the new format you're going to start seeing popping out. It's just videos that you do in an episodic format, meaning that if it's every week, it's every week. If it's every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, right? That's the important key factor, because when you do that, that's considered a show, and that has its benefits. One of them is that you teach your audience to come back to you, which is difficult to do today, right? We are all selling to goldfish, so it's very complicated to make them come back. And even if you have a blog, you have other types of communication with them, that's a challenge. But because videos today are so popular and so easy to consume, the moment you have a show, what is happening? You're really telling them to come back every single week to you, and that's worth gold. Not only that, you have in some instances like YouTube that has its own channel inside TVs. They don't put they don't feature any video. They feature shows. Okay, but the show is just a series of videos that you commit to launch every single week or every single 2 weeks or so. Okay.
So just to reiterate what Shahar said, essentially you call it a show, it's episodic. So you determine how frequently you're going to do it. So it could be once a week, every other week, whatever it is. So you decide, so let's say it's once a week. We found that that's the ideal. And then you do it once a week. You call it a show, you do it once a week, and you do it. And you keep doing it and you do it again. Basically call it a show and do it.
With this show, you're everywhere, and we are going to go in depth into that. So you're not just online, which is a very crucial point. You can call this however you want, because really there is no specific name for this. You can call a web show, but the fact is it's not only online. You're going to be everywhere and in all types of screens, because like you probably do today, you do not only watch TV, right? You may watch some of your favorite shows on TV at the couch, or some on your desktop, some on your laptop, some on your phone, some on your tablet. It really doesn't matter, but it's important for you as a business owner to be everywhere. It's highly profitable. So here, one of the things you need to jot down, because we hear a lot of people that do audio podcasts talking about how much they charge and how much it is per download and things like that. Those are good metrics. But the fact is that you know the value of your content, and you can set up the price accordingly. Okay, that's very important. And because you are not going to be in just one platform, not just iTunes, again, that has a value connected to that. So you decide that amount. So be very careful not to think, okay, I need to base only on the number of downloads that I get, because in many cases, people will not be downloading. They will be, streaming from YouTube or some other place. So be careful with that. You set the value, and you don't have to follow any industry rules. Why? Because there are none. Okay, what people do is somebody starts being successful, everybody copies that, but that doesn't mean you need to. So you know the value of your content, you set up that price. Let me, like I said, highly profitable and untapped in the competition side. I'm going to show you why. I want you to put some names down of shows that are very successful so you can later go and watch them. That this is not the moment for you to go to watch. The first one is Boomerology Revealed, boomerologyrevealed.com. That's our show. And the reason I want you to take a look is when you go there, you're going to see it's a very young show. Like I said, 8 episodes, therefore 8 weeks. Very, very young. We are still working on improving everything from light to everything else, because that's the cool part. Once you start doing, you see that you could tweak this, you could tweak that, and then things happen. When is everything here and you're always trying to figure the perfect format before you do something, never happens. So you have no way to improve. But the second reason is because we started this podcast with a gold sponsor from the get-go. I'm going to go into numbers later. But from the get-go, we didn't have a pilot. We didn't have anything. We had the concept, the idea, and we are people that implement. So when we talked to them, there was a deadline, and on that deadline, and it was challenging, right, Angela? Because we had some technical problems. It was challenging to launch on the right date. We were a few nights without any sleep, but we did it.
And we did it, and it wasn't perfect, but we launched. And then from that moment on, we were able to tweak it and to make it better. And quite honestly, we're still doing that. Every episode that we release, it's like, okay, this and this and this could be better. Oh, we didn't do that so well. Maybe we should try this. And so it's just this process. It's actually an enjoyable process,
yeah.
But keep this in mind. Don't let the perfection stand in the way. Essentially, launch, make it good, right? Good is good enough. Make it good, launch it, get it going, because then it becomes real, it becomes a reality,
yes.
And then you're able to go ahead and move forward with that and make it perfect.
Yes. So we closed that sponsor for a quarter. Later we closed the smaller one. We are negotiating with a few more and already renewing that one. So that gives us, the flexibility of investing in the show. So I want you to take a look at that. Another one that is very popular, and the reason I put here is called Epic Meal. Epic Meal. You will find that actually Epic Meal Time, and you find that on YouTube. It's a fun show because it's 2 guys and they make recipes, but every single recipe has bacon in it. So it's actually very fun to watch. There is a study actually that shows that for women that show how to make cookies tend to be very successful, and shows for men that have bacon in it tend to be very successful. But the bacon is not the reason I'm telling you to watch the show. It's that they got traction very fast, and they were actually bought by a cable channel now. So that's pretty cool. And that's one of the things that you can achieve with your show.
Yes, because granted, this is not the type of thing that happens with everyone. I'd be lying if I said it did.
Yes.
But it does happen with a small percentage. If you're able to be a strong celebrity in your niche, and you have a topic that's enticing enough for networks, for cable networks, it is a possibility that they can buy you. It doesn't happen to everyone, but it happens. This example with the bacon is one of them.
Yes. I can tell you one thing, though. You might be thinking, yeah, but I can't believe that a cable network would buy a show made in a kitchen or with an iPhone or whatever you're thinking. Believe me, it is very, very likely for this reason. Cables and traditional broadcasters, they don't have their programs in the cloud digitalized for many reasons we are not going to go through. But they know they need to be everywhere. They need to be in any kind of screen. So they are looking for new models to show that are already digitalized.
And
so that's one reason. Go ahead.
Not to stress on this, prolong this topic too much, but one other thing keep in mind is, okay, do cable networks really buy a show that's made maybe with my iPhone? Okay, here's the thing. Listen. They will find you. You do it and you start it so that they can find you. Of course, if they happen to buy you, if you happen to become a part of their network, the structure will change. You will then have access to all of their equipment and all of their production team and all of that. So yeah. The story changes after that.
Yeah, we actually have a case here in Utah. What's the name of the story thing, Nash?
It's Story Trek, I believe.
Story Trek. So it was a guy and 2 friends doing this show about that they can get a story out of anybody that they knocked at the door. And they went for a couple of seasons because, it doesn't happen overnight. But they were bought by the BYU channel here. And now they have all the structure that you can dream of. So yes, they are buying and they are producing new content. They are also trying to find formats that work besides the reality show one. Okay, another one. This guy is also from Utah. He's a younger guy, Devin Supertramp. You also find him on YouTube. The reason I want you to go and look for that is, number one, he uses one of the revenue channels we're going to talk about, that is branded content. If you watch his show, is about sports, you are always going to see, I believe it's a Ford Escape. It's a Ford for sure. And it just shows the Ford. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't advertise that, but he's getting money every single episode from Ford because of that. And he was also bought by a channel. So go take a look. There are many out there, but these are some that will give you some ideas. Before we go into the new TV format in itself, I just want to remind you a little bit about the power of YouTube, the second biggest search engine on earth. 800 million people that have access to you. This is a crucial thing because YouTube is a type of social network, but you're not constrained to your network and the network of your friends like you are on Facebook. It's an open network. Anybody can find your video. It's a matter of typing the right keywords. Okay? This is very, very, very important, because you may be marketing every single day, many times on Facebook, but the fact is, access to you, the people you know and their friends, unless also you spend a lot of money. So they have that in mind. 4 billion 4 billion videos are viewed every single day. So there is a lot of searches towards video. Okay, and if this was the topic today, I would even tell you how important it is for search engines, but we are not going to go there. Just in 2011, there were 1 trillion views. But we all know that 2014 is the year of the video, so that's increasing quite a bit. And I have here 140 views for each person on Earth. Imagine that. 3 billion plus hours of video watched every single month. But like I said, there is a whole new world besides that. That's extremely important. YouTube is extremely important in your marketing strategy. But then we have the new TV. Okay, so what is that? Well, today, with the same show, you can be syndicated not only through online, like YouTube and iTunes as a podcast, but then you can go to traditional TVs through something called over-the-top boxes. And there is Roku, there are many others. Really don't need to worry too much about it. The fact is that anybody can go buy a $50 box, hook to their TV, and have 1,200 channels to watch every day. That's what we do. And you have channels like Hulu and Netflix and Amazon and 1,200 others. Extremely powerful, because now it allows you to watch from your TV sitting in your couch, whatever series you like. So extremely important now too, because I am reaching a different type of audience. Look, when I'm putting a show on YouTube, I'm targeting the online crowd, right? So I get people from every age watch. I have the power users, and that's it, right? Sometimes they're buyers, sometimes they're not. When I put exactly the same show on iTunes, I am reaching a more sophisticated audience, already a buyer, because they buy songs from iTunes, for example. They are used to buy, usually more male-oriented than female, over 100K a year. So very nice type of audience if you're selling to that type. And when I go to TV, I not only reach an older crowd, so if you're not talking to power users, you have to consider this as an option, but I'm also showing my show to the same people that buy from infomercials, the couch potato, right? The same that buy from QVC and the other shopping channels. Very, very powerful buyer here with disposable income, okay? So think about this, same exact show going everywhere, extremely important for you when you're trying to position yourself as a celebrity.
Crucial. If you've listened to any of our things before, you know that at any point in time during the presentation, at least once I say this, we say this, but essentially it's because it resonates so much with me, and I always like to put our clients, our friends in the same thought process. One effort, multiple results. So it's the same thing. It applies in many different scenarios, but ultimately in this case, what Shahar she was talking about, one effort, multiple results. One video, one episode of your show reaches multiple audiences on multiple platforms. And so always think like that. Always think, how can I do one thing to accomplish multiple things? And this is a perfect example of that.
Yes, and then we have the mobile devices, right? How many times do you pick up your phone? or watch something, or even more important, share a video with somebody through a portable device. This morning, Ashley and I, we were having breakfast in a bakery, and we talked about another YouTube celebrity called Rosanna, and I wanted to show it to her. I got my tablet, and we watched that 5-minute video there. I could have got my phone as well, but you see how important it is, because it also allows sharing a lot more. It's not sharing like click here to share, but let's watch together. Another type of social interaction that we have now.
Exactly, because it enhances the conversation that you're having at the present moment. And so it's not necessarily a matter of sharing where I'm going to get my phone, I'm going to share a video, it's going to send you an email, and when you get home or to the office, you're going to look at it. No. It's, hey, we're talking about this right now. Have you seen this video? Have you heard of this girl? Oh, I'll show it to you right now. And right now, we can laugh together. Right now, we can be entertained by this. Right now, we can learn together. And so it enhances that experience, that conversation between friends.
And if I'm watching a video on my phone or on my tablet, what's going on here? They are not seeing 10,000 other posts popping up at the same time like they do on Twitter or on Facebook. The attention is on you. And then again, one more reason why you're going to become the go-to celebrity. And then when they check you and they like you, they subscribe to you, then you start the process of coming back to you every single time that you post another one. Extremely important. I have here statistics that in 2014, 57 million U.S. broadband households will be viewing full-length video on TV. You know, if you have things like Chromecast, this is one way you can do. But we know that just Roku, one of those boxes, has 5 million users in the U.S. alone, reaches Canada, Europe, and now Asia. So you're everywhere, which is amazing, right? Targeting people sitting in front of their couches, watching what you have to provide as content provider. So great opportunity. Let me compare to you the difference between traditional TV and this new format of TV. So here we have a few points. When I have a show on a traditional TV channel, I am limited to my region. So if I have one here, like I go to a public station, for example, it's only for Utah, right? It wouldn't show in Florida. It's limited to one type of screen. If I have a show there, people have to sit down and watch. And it's not on demand, meaning that most of the time it's not on demand because you have to watch whenever it's on. You cannot watch later when you want. This is a huge disconnection with the behavior today. You have TiVo, but you have, again, all these boxes that allow you to watch whenever you want, which is very important. The shows on demand are extremely important. You can see even on webinars, if you do that yourself, you know how it works. Just one fraction of everybody that said they would come really come. And then later, the others want the recording. It's the same type of behavior we have for everything else. I don't want to watch Walking Dead when it's on. I want to watch when I have time, unless I'm part of a power group, or unless I do like the interaction. I'm a power Twitter user, because then when I'm watching Scandal, I want to be commenting on what's going on. Oh my gosh, look what happened, he died, right? But if you're not that type, you don't want that. You don't want the live. So again, it depends a lot on your audience. Content has to remain broad and general. Why? Because they need to reach as many people as possible, and that is part of the problem they are facing now with advertisers, because people don't want that. But that's the way it is. It is the structure. Targets the mass audience. It's not interactive. A communication is just one way. Then you might be saying, oh, but there is the second screen experience. Yes, there is. They are trying that to some point. There are many numbers today proving that the second screen experience is not bringing buyers, is not bringing conversion. And if we are doing this as a business, you want that piece. But it's being tested and it's going to evolve. I'm just saying that at this moment, it's not very interactive. Shows are broadcast on a fixed schedule, so you have to be there when they want. And of course, in some channels, you have one advertising after another, sometimes during 5 minutes of advertising, and it's very annoying. Now, what happens with the new TV? Okay, the new TV, you can design the content for niche and sub-niches, like Boomerology Review is for boomers, right? So you can go deeper, which is important because it's aligned with what people really want today, to focus on one subject, not have a super overview like before. You can target your ideal client. It's all about that. Actually, Boomerology Review came, the idea came around that because we've been serving boomers for all of our lives anyway, and we have clients in specific industries that only sell to boomers. It made sense to us from the get-go. I knew my ideal client would be there, and it wouldn't be quite a challenge to find a sponsor because I know people that only sell to boomers, right? It was kind of a no-brainer. So you need to figure out what's your ideal client. You're going to say something, Nash?
No, I wasn't, but I can.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point that I thought you brought up with Boomerology Revealed, because that's precisely it. We were targeting that audience, and we figured, okay, the show would be perfect. It would reach out. We would be able to reach out to so many different aspects of our business through just that audience. And so we're leveraging the videos to do exactly that. And in your business, you can do precisely the same thing. Okay, who do I normally reach, or who can I reach? Who would I like to reach? But figure it out and then become the celebrity for them.
Yes, and it's easier on you as a professional as well. It's exhausting many times trying to be the expert, and in some cases, you have to be the expert on everything. Let's suppose you were a social media manager, right, or a social media marketer. How exhausting is that? That you have to all the time be figuring out how to have return in environments where you really don't have people willing to buy at the moment. How exhausting it is to know about every single new app, every single new thing out there. It's just exhausting. But the fact is, from the perspective of your clients, sometimes they just think he or she thinks they know everything, right? Because you're always putting new stuff in their minds, and this doesn't benefit you or your client. In this case, you really can narrow down to something that you're passionate about, and there is a market for that, and talk about that. Makes your life a lot easier, let me tell you. Like I said before, you will reach three different audiences: the online audience, the podcast consumer, and the couch potato, the TV people that like to watch and buy from TV programs. Very important. One effort, multiple results. It can be watched from any type of screen. Okay, so tablets and cell phones and the TV itself. It's easy. There can be easy and fun interactions between viewers and presenters. Here's a crucial point. Remember, I said TV is not interactive. As long as you make your show in a format that is conversational, and you really ask for input from your audience, you are bringing a new format. Be a little careful if all you're going to do is interview somebody every time. Okay? Because again, you're positioning yourself as the expert in the sense of, I tell you what to do and you go do it. Okay? People today, they need that interaction. Even schools are going to shifting in their model called flipping. I'm not going to explain what that is right now, but it's the same concept that people need to be interacting. How can you do that? There is a show that is heavily promoted. It's done with Google Hangouts, the same thing we are using today. Anybody can use this. It's called HuffPost, and they do this extremely well. In every single episode, the audience will pitch in their 2 cents on whatever topic they are talking about. This is pre-recorded, but then they feature everybody. And of course, everybody tells their friends and families they are on the show. Has millions of subscribers, doing extremely well, monetizes extremely well, and understands this. It's a conversation. It's not me telling you, forget the expert thing for a second, okay? It's how can we all figure this out and figure ways to bring your audience to you and allow them to participate. This is a key point for successful shows, okay? If you allow them to comment on YouTube and you keep that conversation going, that would work as well, but it needs to have interaction.
This is a very important point, because it truly is. Long gone are the days where it's you on that pedestal and just preaching and teaching to your audience. Now it's a lot more about involvement, and that matters more. Your success as a show host will largely be influenced by how much you allow them to interact with you. So do do keep that as part of the plan. Do make that a part of your day-to-day activities when you are filming and shooting, and request that interaction and make it possible for them to input on some level. So it could be even by leaving comments, it could be by giving suggestions of what you're going to talk about. Whatever the case, make sure that that's a part of how you do this.
Yes. In this new TV, you can have live shows. Churches, they do this extremely well. You will find, if you have a Roku box, you're going to see there are many of them, all denominations, and they do that well. It can be done, but having them on demand as well is crucial, right? Because it's when they want and where they want, okay? Another thing, there are you have few commercials here. You can add some, and it's totally okay to have some, especially in the format that they are part of the show, because then it doesn't interrupt. The problem with traditional advertisers that interrupt, you can really embrace that into your programming, but you don't have that thing that you have to wait for the commercials to be over so the show comes back. You don't have geographic boundaries. Like I said, Canada, US, Europe, Africa, Asia, they have those boxes already, and they can consume your content from anywhere, which is fantastic, because going through a bad market sometimes is very, very smart for you to go where the money is. And some other countries have money to spend. Why not target them, right? There are several countries that speak English, for example. Why not target them? Any industry can have this type of show. It's not because you're a dentist or whatever that you cannot. It's just a matter of brainstorming a format that would be entertaining for the user. But any industry can and should, because at this point, you don't, like I said, it's green ground and you don't have a lot of competition. So this is the time, not when everybody else is doing, okay? Because then you will be part of the noise and not of the solution. Allow several streams of income. That's what we are going to talk next. No super high fees to have your show. So understand this. Production is very simple. You can use whatever camera you have, even the one on your cell phone. You don't need a studio. For example, BuzzBooster is usually not done in a studio. You can use natural light to light your show. So there are no huge costs in production whatsoever, unless you want. That's a choice, but it's not a need. I can show you several shows today that are done with an iPod. An iPod today has tripods and different lenses, so you can go fancy with all these things without spending a lot of money. There are no fees also. There are no high fees also to have that going on in several platforms. We're going to talk more about that later. And like I said, you reach the couch potato, which is the people that buy from QVC, I don't know the other name, and all infomercials out there. Okay? Let's talk about revenues now, Nash.
Yes, my favorite topic.
It's your favorite topic, right? Okay, so let's see. I put here today 17, and believe me, there are more. Actually, there are some new ones, like I told you with Devin Supertramp, that was called branded content, that he just shows the car every single episode. It's fantastic, right? Because it doesn't annoy the audience and gives money.
That's exactly one of my favorite of the models, because ultimately you're not necessarily promoting the brand, you're not talking about it, you don't have to, but it's there, it's in the background, it's making an impression, it's a part of your show, but you don't even have to mention it in some cases. I really like that model.
Yes, and of course, every single one of them, when we work together, we go in depth into all those, right? I just want to give you a glimpse of what's possible, because, if you've been thinking, for example, on doing a podcast for some time, you're probably thinking, I have to produce very good content, and I have to wait until it gets traction, and then somebody will come and become a sponsor. And even though you may do all this, you have cases for $50,000 or more a month with that. That's totally okay. I'm just telling you there's more than that if you're willing to do the work. Yes, there is some work involved, but there's more to that. So let me tell you numbers too. And again, I base these numbers on what we are able to get. Okay? We are getting this with Boomerology, for example. Now, the more traction it gets, the more places you are, the more you can charge. Like I said, you determine the value. In the case of Boomerology Review, I told you we have sponsors, and of course it's not based in my audience, okay? Because there is no way on earth that I can have millions of viewers at this moment with just 8 weeks for the show. Because, you know, in some cases you have to wait 4 or 5 or 7 episodes even to start syndicating. So there is no way to be there, but that's irrelevant because it's the quality of the audience I have. So much so that you have companies out there today. It wasn't true 2 years ago, but it's true now. They are actively seeking shows online to sponsor. Big companies like Depend, for example, Kickstarter, the drink. You have several. Well, today they actively seek for that, and in some audiences they don't find that very easily. Why? Remember at the beginning I told you the power users for 18 to 34, everybody targets that group, and it's very easy to find shows for that audience. And there are many multi-channel networks on YouTube just catering to that. So it's not difficult to find. They go and they spend a lot of money on that. But other types of audiences, then it becomes a challenge. For example, boomers. Okay, it's one example. So they are seeking. Another example, business shows hosted by women. They're not a lot. They're not a lot. They don't find it. They're always seeking. You see, it's very easy to find techy shows. Very easy to find shows about games. Not very easy to find shows that are not, you know, life coaching related. If it is, if that's your case, what's your angle that could be different from what is out there? There are advertisers seeking for people, and there are new companies out there.
So for you, this is a great opportunity because advertisers are looking for content beyond just the techie and the geek and stuff like that. And so if you have topics that are beyond that, which I'm assuming most of you in this case in this webinar today do, well then that's perfect, because now they'll be able to reach you. My tongue just kind of twisted there. Yeah. But they'll be able to reach you, and now you have this advertising opportunity.
Yes. So like I said, there are many types of industries that they are actively seeking, and they don't have a lot. Female hosts talking about business, seriously talking about business is one of them. Boomers, seniors, you know, there's a lot out there. So sponsorship here from 1,000 to 4,000 per episode. Again, not related to the number of viewers you have, but to the type of audience you're reaching. Also very important, your social network reach. They are going to look at this. How many Twitter followers do you have? How many Facebook friends do you have? Do you have a page? Do you use our profile? YouTube subscribers. They will look at those numbers, and they do all the time. We were talking to a possible sponsor this week, and the first thing he did after he hung up the phone was to go look for the social environment for Boomerology. And he called back and said, I didn't find it. So we told him, it's under BuzzBooster, the network, right? And he was happy with the numbers. So those numbers are very, very important, more than the downloads. Okay? So you have to work your social network reach. Choose the networks you're comfortable with, but go and look for that number there, because it's important. That's what they want to know, the possibilities. Why? Because you have a show, every week you're going to promote on Facebook, on Twitter. How many people will that message reach? Okay? They look for that. So if you have a weekly show and you have one sponsor, $1,000 a show, you have 4,000 at the end of the month. The more you grow, the more you ask. Okay, it's that simple. Like I said, these are my numbers. You might have people charging more, a lot of people charging a lot less. Ads on show, that's a different format. It is the traditional advertising that you combine with putting banners on your site, for example. Okay, or you just put banners on your site. If you go to Boomerology Review, again, I would suggest you are going to see we have one specific page for sponsors and a very different one for advertisers buying banners on the site. So it's relying on the traffic that we bring every week to that site, from 500 to 1,500, and you will have all the breakdown there for the different banners, and you have I forgot what I was going to say, but you are welcome to model that. Don't copy, just model. Product placement, very interesting here. The traditional, this is like 100 years old, right? I'm doing a cooking show and I show the product and therefore I get paid for that. Very, very common on TV. There is no reason why you cannot use that. We were watching this Rosanna this morning, and she has a cute cooking show that she shows stuff for kids, like, rainbow unicorn poop cookies, right, full of colors. And when she uses Crisco, she mentions the brand. She could have some text showing up. There are different ways of doing that. So very easy. Our case, 780 per episode. We do this. We have a segment actually where we feature the product that we are being paid for. Feature guests. This is one thing we don't do, but I have friends that do. It's just a choice. When you interview somebody, you charge for that. That will depend on the audience that you have. About $2,000 per interview. Again, for me, that doesn't work. I don't charge people to be interviewed. Branded content. So just like I said with the guy from Devin Supertramp and Ford, there are tons of them out there. There are tons of formats. The product will show at some point. There is even a very cool way of doing this, especially if you target the millennials, the power users. You can do a whole show that will turn around that product. For example, there is a girl in Brazil. She has about 5 million subscribers on YouTube, and she does a show. It's called 5 Minutes, and she talks about nothing, about her life as a 21-year-old. But the other day, there is the word right. You know how you say here, so do you like this, right? Well, we have a similar word there. It happens to be the name of a juice as well. So she's on screen talking to her mother about stuff. And right, every time she would say right, the word right would show on screen. The mother, right, it will show. At the end, it shows the juice, the box, and the name of the juice and whatever was the pitch there. I mean, it's a 5-minute segment, comes out as a new episode, but the whole episode was actually to feature the product.
And it was brilliant. At the end, when I watched that, I'm like, whoa, I did not see that coming. But it made an impression, because during the entire episode, she's blah, 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 right? And every time the right came on, you would hear a little bell, and you'd see it on the screen. It's just making that impression. And then at the end, they talk about this cappuccino that they're selling, and it's called Right. It's some different name. But then it's like, whoa, she was able to wrap the entire episode around this brand without making it look salesy or hokey or anything like that. So it was so brilliantly done.
Yeah, let me give you another example, because I want the juices to start flowing to your head of all the possibilities. So you get out of that mode that just the sponsor comes because the content is good, because you can have fun and make a lot of money out of that. There's another one. There's this one, and he went to a person that reads the future with cards, right? And she has a neck support, so she had some kind of accident. So the person reading the cards is a guy, and he says everything that is obvious, right? So he said, for example, he grabs her hand, and she has a ring, right? And he says, you're married. And she said, yes, I am. The same guy. Yes, the same one for 10 years. And so everything is so obvious. Then he starts, so you're feeling pain, and you're feeling pain around here. And she, yes, I just had an accident. And you cannot do anything about it. The pain keeps coming. And she said, yes. So then he says, okay, so you get this herb, and you light this candle, and you do this, and then you throw everything away because this doesn't work, and take this painkiller. And the painkiller was the product. Fantastic. So that episode was branded. You can have branded in every episode, or you can have something specific, but you see how far this can go is just amazing.
And so what's really cool for me, the way that I see it, is, listen, it doesn't have to be the old model where it looks like you're being pitched. It doesn't have to be like a traditional commercial. It's a part of it. You know, he's talking, you light some candles, get some herbs, mix them together, throw them away, and here, take some Advil. You know, it's kind of like that. So that's why it's so creative, and it's really just a matter of thinking creatively.
Yes. But it can be just the car showing in the show as well. Okay?
Yes.
We just showed you that there is a lot more than it looks like.
Ideas.
Giveaways. So at Boomerology, you can take a look at ours. So we get a product from one of the sponsors, or any product for that matter that somebody wants to feature. And they don't have to be a sponsor to have a giveaway. That's what I'm trying to say. It's independent. So we run for a whole month, and of course we share the list with them. So we have one ending today and another one starting in 2 days. For that, 1,500 because it stays for the whole month.
This
We
is
don't mention that on the show. At least so far, we don't mention that on the show. So it relies on the traffic for the website.
But it works really nicely, and you can promote it on the show, and basically it's for your viewers. It's a benefit that you're giving them something for free. We actually couple it in our business, in our show, where we'll get I just forgot what I was going to say, but ultimately the featured segments that Shahar was talking about earlier, where we'll review a product. So we'll couple it with the giveaway. So we'll review the product, and they're a paying sponsor for that. But then we turn around and we upsell them on the giveaway. And now to our audience, it's like, hey, we've reviewed this product. It's great.
Yeah.
But listen, you can get one for free. So go sign up for the giveaway. And the company love it because they get the list. We give them the list of people who signed up for the giveaway. So it's a great model.
Yes. So for example, the next one, one of the key factors is the age of the person that is going to win. So people will have to input that age as well. So you can do whatever. Feature recommendations, products or services. It looks like the featured product, but it can be separate. You can have a segment talking about that. So that's about 2,000. Sell shows as a package season. A lot of people do this. So after you have a whole season of your shows, you can put that on DVD and sell it, right, for $97 or so. Or even in many cases, you can sell to a whole other industry. Okay, we talked the other days, if you are in education, for example, you can package that later and sell the show to schools, right? So always look at the other industry that might not be watching your show on a weekly basis, but that you could cater with the same content. So you repurpose that content as well. Leads to consulting is a no-brainer, right? Not only leads to consulting, but PR, they always come from the shows. Speaking engagements, and here I put a beginner fee, 3,500 per gig. Some people 5,000, some people 10,000. Then it's up to you. Transcription into products is another way to repurpose and sell. Transcription into online courses. Why not? You're doing this every week. It's good content. Add that as a course. Affiliate sales. Again, on Boomerology, you can see several. Even the store that we have now, even though it's not totally finished, the products that we feature, we put them with our Amazon link. So when people buy, we get a commission. I could also have other things that I'm not featuring, but it's relevant to my audience, right? I can put there, and Amazon is one case you can put from many places here. So that's a separate type of income that you have. You can sell live events, so you can do a whole, month or two, and at the end you're doing a call to action for people to buy your live event. No brainer.
You can use it as a way to build the audience for your events.
Yes. You can share product sales with people you're interviewing. So for example, if you're interviewing other markets, and of course they have information products, they can pitch that when they are talking to you, and you share the revenue from what comes of that. There are ways to track that. There are ways that you just rely on their word, but it can be done very easily. Sending viewers to a membership site that you might have, right, or a membership program or a mastermind program. Again, not difficult to do. And of course, your own products. If you are an information marketer yourself, you have books, CDs, and DVDs, why not sell those? Now, let me tell you one thing. There are more. There are more. For the sake of time, we stop here, but these are really the best. Some are very exciting, like I said, the branded part. Now, I told you about the new TV, and of course, this is where you need to be thinking. If you want to be the go-to celebrity in your field, you're positioning to a narrower market, like a niche market, and you using platforms that not everybody else is using. It's very important. And of course, being able to be everywhere in the sense of online, mobile devices, traditional TV, it's crucial here, because guess what? Your competition, if you're lucky, they are doing some videos a week, or maybe they have an audio podcast, and that's where it ends. So this is a huge competitive advantage that you can put out there without a lot of work, right? So let me tell you how you can get that going. You need to define your ideal client, so the market that you want to reach. You need to have one specific topic that you're going to talk about, okay, with your own angle, because remember, I said personality is important, right? So your own way. Don't model people on this. You know, there are tons of people being successful, and they have the right to be, and you don't need to copy them. Bring from your personality what you want in your show. Okay? Get a camera, tape one. Okay? It's not going to be perfect, and let's face it, a few weeks later, you're going to totally hate that. That's totally okay. We all do. Now, how do we partner? We have channels on those platforms, and we can syndicate your show in all those platforms. Okay, and so we have Roku, we have Samsung, we have Apple TV, BlackBerry, all of them. So you give that episode to us every single week, and we make sure it goes everywhere. You have to do the show. You have to edit the show. We are going to show you how to do that very inexpensively. Even on YouTube today, you can edit your show, so no big deal, no drama here. All you have to do is send us the show. We will syndicate for you. Okay? There are a few other things that you need, but it's all included in our package. So how does it start? We get together and we talk, because I want to see the topic. I understand the market a lot. So we brainstorm in which would be the right format, the right consistency, because a lot of people say, I want to do daily. So and so is doing daily, it has to be daily. We have to see that your show stays for a very long time. Not that you do 10 episodes and then stops because it's too much work. In the case of video, it's different than audio. It does take a little bit more. Okay, so very few shows are successful being daily. Now, you might have a way to do that very fast. Totally okay. The more shows you have, the faster the traction you get. So if doing that daily is not a huge issue, go for it. For me, it would be, because it takes a lot for us to structure our show. Our show has several segments because I want to insert paid things in between them. So it takes more time for me to think. BuzzBooster is just one segment. Then I can do 10,000 a day if I have to, but I can only put somebody in the beginning and at the end. So it decreases the amount of money I can make. It's a choice. Okay? So we are going to discuss that to find the right format, to find the right frequency for your show. Once we have that going, you have to do the first episode. The first episode is not going to be seen by a lot of people unless you're a very, very lucky person. And that's okay, because consistency here is what really, really matters. So you have to keep doing. It does take a while for you to see the results. Now, if you're a hustler, and I hope you are, you can go and offer the show even before it's there. That's what we did with Boomerology. But you might not want. You want to play safe, right? Okay, you are going to do some episodes, and it's going to take a while to get traction. That's how it is. The fun part is it's not only about the number of people watching, is everything, your social networks and everything, that you can speed up the process in those environments. We do have a complete training for you. So if you have that 10,000 questions like, can I do this, can I do that, how do I put the format, I don't understand anything about technology, yeah, that's all covered. Don't worry about that. And you have lifetime access to that. So you're going to be, every time we put like now we are putting some updates about the market, you get that. So it's a lifetime thing. The important part is you being everywhere. So like I mentioned, Roku, BlackBerry. You might say, who has a BlackBerry? Believe me, outside the States, a lot of people do. Samsung, Apple TV, YouTube, and iTunes. We are now working to put on Amazon Fire, and we are always looking to put in more places and more places. Okay, so we take care of that, and as your show goes and we bring new platforms, we put your platforms. Now, the things that you might think it's complicated, have an intro and an outro on your show, because it packages in a better way. You can go without one. BuzzBooster went without one for years. But it looks better. If you have somebody that want to do, if you're friends with somebody that is fantastic, do it your own. But if you don't, we'll provide that for you. That's one of the things that it's included in our package. So it's an animated. We give you 3 options. You choose the one you like, has your name, your tagline, and everything. And that goes in the beginning and at the end of the show. We give it to you, and every single episode you put all together.
It's a bonus.
It's a bonus, yes. Another bonus that we do is you do need a separate blog for your shows. It cannot be whatever other blog you have. It needs to be just for the show. We'll create that for you. Okay?
Bonus.
bonus, and it's consistent with the brand, and it's consistent with all the other environments as well. But very important, because then you don't have to keep thinking, where do I create a blog? Do I know how to create the right blog? And we would have to go inside because of the coding anyway. So we create that for you.
We'll do it for you.
Yeah, the show badges, you know, the thumbnails that you see on iTunes and you see on Roku and everywhere, we'll create those for you as well. So you don't have to think about that anyway. Okay? The special bonus that we are going to offer today for the next 72 hours. So yes, people that will watch this later, you can take advantage of this. But I have a limited amount that I can send. If you take action in the next 72 hours, I will send you your Roku player. So you're going to show that to all your family, and you know, you're going to have not only your show there, but 1,200 channels to choose from. And we'll promote your show to our list and social network, which is over 100,000 people, okay, real people.
This is pretty cool. So this is a limited time bonus, but like Shahar said, when you act within the next 72 hours, we'll give you a Roku player, which is totally cool, and we'll promote your show to our list and our social networks, reaching an audience of 100,000 plus people. So pretty amazing. Gives you a head start when you start.
Exactly. Well, not only that, I totally forgot what I was going to say, but this is very, very cool things for you to start. There are some people that will not be able to take advantage of this, and it's not related to price whatsoever, as you can see. If your show is about sex, if your show is about tobacco, if your show promotes drugs or animal cruelty, you cannot come into our network. Plus, the four-letter words, whatever are the ones that you use. This is not my rule, it's the rule of most platforms. So for example, if I have a show on Roku on my channel that you say the F word every 5 seconds, they will take the show and the channel down. So we cannot go there. Okay, it has to be clean. It has to be family, you know, the G thing, because it's not us. I don't care if you use four-letter words or not, but we cannot have that. So
well,
if you cannot, go ahead.
Here's another way of looking at it. By making sure that all the shows on our networks adhere to these standards, we can ensure that the networks get greater distribution. Because the fact is that if we have, let's say, sexual-related content, it'll limit the distribution tremendously, and you don't want that. And so it's something that we're kind of sticklers about, but we need to maintain those standards so that we can have a broader reach, which ultimately will give our show hosts a broader reach.
Yes, and sex and tobacco, also their rules, but again, we don't want to go that route. So sex, tobacco, drugs in the sense of promoting illegal drugs, and animal cruelty, not allowed. Four-letter words, swearing, not allowed. Okay, so if it's your case, unfortunately, we are not for you at all. But if you're not, stay with us. So again, 72 hours. If you also want the Roku and we promoting your show to our network, you get the blog, you get the intro and the outro, and you get the show badges. Very affordable for you, very affordable. There is one setup fee because we have a lot to do to make it happen in the back end. Believe it or not, there's a lot of programming to be done. So you pay one setup fee. Your investment is $147, and yes, we have payment options. It's on the sales page, plus a syndication of $147 a month. Now, here's the cool part. You will only be charged that amount after 60 days. So we are giving you 60 days to get the first episode ready to go. So you're not investing without seeing anything. See, you invest in the setup fee, we get things done so everything is ready to go, blog and badges and all the design and all things that we need to do. But you have 60 days to come up with one episode. Now, you can start putting on the chat box your questions because I know you want to know how long the episodes will be and everything. We can kind of touch on that because every case is a separate case. That's why we have a face-to-face to actually probably hang out to talk about. But very important for you to understand that you only start paying this syndication after 60 days. So you have 60 days to get one episode ready. Hopefully you will get a lot more than that. But some people take longer, and we understand that. What do you have to do? You have to go to startmytvshow.com right now and take advantage of that. I do have a limited number of Roku boxes that I can send. So once I reach that, I'll stop the promotion and I'll put on the page that. But right now, startmytvshow.com, and you can choose the payment option that is best for you, and we can start working together. It's on a queue system. So whoever buys first will be the first one to have the private session. And yes, in case you are a person that need one more session, we'll take care of that. I never left a show host alone. Don't worry about that. And there are some that are very intensive. So, but it's on a queue, right? So the first one gets the first meeting, the second one gets the second meeting. Plan on that, because it may take a while for us to talk if you wait too much, if you have to do too much thinking. Look at this, no risks for you. Very low investment, super new trend out there. Everybody's shifting into content making. You have Yahoo coming with new series. You have Netflix coming with series. You have Amazon not only coming with series, but coming to a box. You have Google now about to release their own box. So you have this happening out there. You can wait for every single sheep around and follow the herd, or you can take action before and benefit from that. And I would really suggest that being a sheeple is not a good thing, because you stay with the herd, and when you come on board, it's too late. Okay, so again, I will start answering questions. Startmytvshow.com. Nash?
Startmytvshow.com. Go there. Take advantage of this. Like Shahar said, the investment is very low. Even if you'd like, we have below the sign up button, there's an option where you can do the setup fee in 2 payments, 2 easy payments, and so we can even do that. So do take a look. If you have any questions, ask them. We're here to answer them right now. But yeah, startmytvshow.com. Go there, become the celebrity in your field. So let's see, Shahar. Let me take a look at the questions. You can talk while I'm looking.
That are coming to your mind. I know the time duration of shows is one of them. If you have, if you want to talk about money, if you want to, maybe you have something. There is the one about the time thing. It's important for you to understand that in this case, you have to think about the 3 different audiences that you're reaching. So you hear all the time that shows need to be very short, 2 to 5 minutes. There are 2 points here that you have to consider. First one, your audience, the age of your audience, okay? You have the segment of the millennials and the Zs that they need to consume things that are very fast, okay? So shows that have 2 to 3 minutes work very well for them. Also, scenes, between scenes, the average is 45 seconds. So it's a generation that likes that. But let me tell you one thing. Recent studies are showing that even for them, the length of the content is growing if it has meaning, right? If it's boring or it's about nothing, no, it has to be very fast. But even to that audience, it is growing. The older the audience, the more you need to go. That's one point to take into consideration. Second point to take into consideration is really how interactive you can be with them. That will play a role. Third thing, if you can talk about something and go in depth without being boring, because boring is the #1 mistake in marketing, right? So those are things that you have to take into consideration. And then, because you have people watching online as a podcast and on TV, look at this. If you do a 2-3 minute show and I'm watching on TV, I need to keep skipping from one episode to the other every 2 or 3 minutes, which is not very fun. Ideally, shows about 10 to 15 minutes are fantastic because they can reach all audiences. The traditional podcast is 20 minutes for some similar reason, is the time of the commute, right? So we have to take these variables into consideration. So if you're not targeting, sorry, allergists, if you're not targeting a very, very young audience, 10 to 15 minutes is ideal, and you can go longer. There are many shows up to an hour that do really well. You just have to be extremely careful to make it engaging and interactive and not boring, okay? But that's the rule of thumb. Do you have anything else, Nash?
Yes. Let's see. Can I have guests on my show?
You can have as many guests on your show as you want. Actually, it's a good thing. Think about this. You've been watching me now for 1 hour, and I'm very thankful for that. But
Me too.
you see a head. That's all you see, right?
Two in this case.
Yeah. While it's good if you're watching on a mobile device because you can't actually see me, for a show it gets boring, right? So, for example, if you use the Hangout model like we are right now, we have national, but I could have 5, 6, 10, 20 people here interacting and discussing the topic. Hangouts, for example, are very easy because all we are doing right now is already going to YouTube. It's already live on YouTube and it's recorded so I can use later. I don't have to know anything about technology to do that.
And that was one of the questions that you just answered was, can I do a show using Google Hangout?
Yes, there's several.
Yes, absolutely.
One of the most famous is the HuffPost. Like I told you, the one that uses the audience. Go there and check them out. But there are several of them, and there are many traditional TV channels using Hangout quite a bit, and then editing part of it and showing on their broadcast. So yes, you can. Again, think about how can it be dynamic and not the tools in itself. And on the training program, we don't go too much in depth into the technology part, but we show you how to do on all of them. It's just a choice. Actually, in Boomerology, I do interview people. I have guests, and I use Hangouts. Not every single episode because I don't like. I like the studio better, but I use Hangouts every time a person is not in the same city I am. Today, you have the world to come talk to you. You can be interviewing people anywhere. Why not? You should. If they are interesting, bring them in.
Yes, and let's see. The other question was, how long? Oh, I think you've answered this one already. How long do the shows have to be?
Yes, so around 10 to 15 minutes. Don't forget, startmytvshow.com. Setup is very affordable.
10 to 15 minutes, but it's very fluid. Keep that in mind. You control how long it will be. You control how many sponsors you have, how many advertisers you have. You control if you have guests. You control whether you do it in a studio, at home, or on Google Hangout. That's the beauty of it. You have the control over all of these things, right? And together, when you sign up, like Shahar mentioned, we're going to get together and we're going to discuss these things, and we'll figure out exactly what is the best approach for you, for your show. So it's no cookie cutter thing. We don't like cookie cutter things. We don't like that. We believe in this day and age, everything is extremely customizable, and it has to be that way. And so we're going to make it that way for you. So we'll figure out exactly what is the ideal format for your show, and we'll figure out the revenue streams for your show, and we're going to get it going. Our objective is to make it so that your only focus is creating your show, your episodes, is recording, getting in front of the camera and recording. That's our objective. That's why we'll do the vlog and the intro, and we'll set up all of that so that you don't have to worry about the technology part of it, so that all you have to do is focus on your content in creating your show, talking about the things that you're passionate about, and letting people know about it. So ultimately that's the objective, right? And so go to startmytvshow.com. Go there, go right now, check it out. The investment is very low. If you need, we even have a 2-payment option if you'd like. And so just go there, sign up, startmytvshow.com.
And on
now
that page,
is the time.
You're going to see some of the show hosts that we have there and their testimonials, and they're showing really good. We had one of them, I don't know if she's on the page, but this week she had 2 of her shows that really went viral. So it does happen. We are not promising that, but it does happen. Now about the duration, remember one thing. Your show is on demand. So it's not like in traditional TV that you have a grid and one show comes after the next. So the time, 26 minutes or 49 minutes, are very important. It doesn't happen here. That's why it's so flexible. You can have one show that is 10 and another show that is 30. Nobody's going to say anything about that. You have to be worried about your audience and what they want to consume. About advertising and channels of revenue, you have to go and look for those sponsors, okay? With that said, our network, especially now, we actively seek sponsors, not only for the channels individually, like we have the Buzz and Biz on Roku, we have the Buzz and Biz on YouTube, but we seek in different platforms. So if a person wants to advertise on our network inside YouTube, then we go and do a deal with those, and we usually bundle shows. So if it's a client that has something to do with mindset, and I have 3 shows on mindset, I bundle those and we all split the revenue. Okay, so we do go after. I'm not promising you I'm going to get you a sponsor whatsoever. It's just our business model, and really now we made all the shifts we needed just to focus on that. Even if you go to my main website, you will see that we have shifted. So we are actively seeking people to advertise and to sponsor in all shows. And inside those networks, we are always promoting all the shows. So if we get a match, we talk to you, do you accept this fee or not? And we go from there, and we tell you how to do and what to do exactly. But again, if you want money fast, you have to go after and look for the sponsors. And once you sign up, we'll send you the best practices so you have in detail how it works. I just wanted not to leave that out, that as though we do look for sponsors for you as well, you shouldn't focus on that. You should do the show because you are a hustler and you're going to get and you're going to make it happen in a fast. So you can become not only the to-go celebrity in your field, but you know, with a very nice revenue coming from that. Any other questions, Nash?
I believe we covered it all, Shahar. Let me just do a final check here, just to be sure. But I think we got it all. Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much for being with us. Again, startmytvshow.com is the place to go. You have 72 hours if you want to get a brand new Roku box, and we promoting your show inside our social network and to our list. Like I said, the reach well over 100,000. It's a good get-going thing because at the beginning you need likes and subscribers and everything else. So it's a good push. Only 72 hours. You get on inside a queue. The longer you wait, the longer you will wait to start talking to us and get things going. So, you know, make a decision. Go there, startmytvshow.com, and we'll see you on the next side.
Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Go there now, startmytvshow.com. Let's get your show going. You want to do it. I know it. Let's make it happen. Let's do it. Like Shahar said, you're a hustler, so a hustler will go and will take action, and we're going to be there with you, basically guiding you by the hand, and we're going to make sure that you have that show going and that you become the go-to celebrity in your industry. So go there. Thank you so much for joining us today. We were so excited about this, and I'm so happy that you stayed until the end with us. So thank you so much. Now just go to startmytvshow.com.
And I'll see you next time.
See you there.